Gay marriage it is in our Constitution. It is not allowed, and under our state law, it is not allowed. I would follow state law, whatever the state law is, but maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I think that marriage ought to be between a man and a woman.
Hey there, YouTube. I'm Forrest, Latter-day Skeptic. Matt Walsh was recently on Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm a fan of both of these guys, and they've done good work in the culture war. I also think that Matt's documentary, What is a Woman, is important for people to watch. However, after just having the midterm elections in the United States, this conversation represents the dilemma that middle-of-the-aisle and conservative youth voters are stuck in. The dilemma is having to pick between the social justice warrior critical race theory left and the homophobic religious right. But hey, make sure you hang around to the end because I'm feeling a spirit here with me today. In the first half of the video, we'll watch Matt struggle to give any kind of coherent definition of the word marriage that includes straight couples but not gay couples. But Joe isn't buying any of it, and in the second half of the video, we'll see the real reason why Matt is against gay marriage. So let's see how Matt defines marriage.
Is marriage fundamentally a procreative male and female union or not? There's not really much of a compromise position there.
There's not a compromise in gay men that want to be married. They're in love and they want to formalize their bond so they could see their partner if there's a medical emergency or if there's a death where you assign assets to your loved ones. Want it to be solidified. They want it to be carved in stone. They want to say, this is not just a person that I love. This is my life partner.
I think of marriage is a certain thing, which is the context for procreation, for the building of the nuclear family.
What about people that get married that don't have kids?
So Matt has defined marriage as the union between a man and a woman for the purpose of having kids. Joe's definition, on the other hand, is a social symbol of love that also entails certain legal privileges. I've always found it funny when religious people try to argue the definition of marriage. If you want to have fun, ask Mormons if they believe that marriage is a sacrament. By their own definition, all non-religious, and in the case of Mormon, all non-temple marriages are invalid. For some reason, they're willing to compromise on this fundamental part of their definition, but they won't budge on adding gay marriage to the definition.
You're left with this question of, like, if marriage is not what I'm saying it is, then why do we even need it? What's the point? I mean, you're saying it's a man-made institution.
Yes.
But you're also, like, the way that you're presenting it, it's a totally meaningless institution. So
No.
they don't need it at all.
No, it's not meaningless. It's because it means something to the people that get married.
So it's just a subjective, symbolic thing. I mean, what?
Yeah.
So if you're
Kind of what it is. Look.
Matt really doesn't like the idea that marriage isn't defined by something objective. And throughout the video, he keeps implying that things that are subjective and symbolic are meaningless. What about things like medals and titles and awards? These are all man-made symbols, but to a lot of people, they're one of the more meaningful aspects of their lives.
Well, no, I would say that it's not.
Well, if it's not subjective and it's not symbolic,
it codifies and protects and gives a name to a thing that actually exists, which are man, woman couples creating people, creating babies.
What if they get married? They decide, you know what? We don't need kids. I'm going to get fixed. You get your tubes tied. Let's travel the world.
Well, what do you mean am I opposed to it? I mean, I think that every married couple should be open to life.
But what if they don't want to? Are you opposed to them being married? If marriage is only for procreation and to bond a family together, what about people that are deeply in love that never want to have children?
I don't think it's not only procreation, but that is one of the fundamental definitional aspects of it.
I love how Joe keeps highlighting the problems with Matt's definition of marriage. Matt's definition implies that straight couples that can't have kids or straight couples that decide not to have kids shouldn't be included in the definition of marriage. If Matt wanted to be true to his definition, all relationships without kids would be illegitimate.
Right, but if people want to be married and don't want to ever have children, are you opposed to them being married?
Well, I wouldn't advocate a law that would prevent it.
But would it change the definition of what their marriage is to you because they don't want to have a family? They just want to have a loving bond?
I think this would be a couple that is rejecting one of the fundamental aspects of marriage, and they should be they should be open to life. I would hope that in the future they would be, but
should we have a different name for people that have zero desire to procreate but are also heterosexual? They want to be married?
no. I mean, no.
Then why should we have a different name for gay people that are in love that want to
Because
be married?
because the union between a man and a woman, even if they choose not to have kids, it is still a fundamentally procreative union, apart from choices they make, or if someone has a condition where they're not able to conceive.
But of course, Matt doesn't want to delegitimize the marriage of straight couples that don't have kids. It seems like there's only one group he's really trying to leave out. Matt is unable to give a coherent definition of marriage that includes straight couples without kids, but discludes gay couples. In fact, Joe was so not convinced by any of Matt's arguments that he asked Matt what the real reason was behind thinking this way.
If they feel like is this a religious thing? Like, do you think that people who are gay should practice homosexuality? Or do you think that they should try to avoid it because biblically it's frowned upon?
I am a Christian. I'm Catholic. So if you want to talk about the biblical aspects of it, I can do that.
But what are your own personal feelings about like gay people? Should they avoid being gay?
I believe in sexual morality. Is that the sexual act, properly ordered, belongs within the marital bond, which should be reserved for a man and a woman. No, because I think you can talk about the marriage issue without even getting into biblical morality, which is what I was doing. I mean, you brought up the Bible,
right?
I didn't.
Well, I brought about we talked about Christianity, in particular,
right? But that's my point. It's like you introduced that to the conversation,
yes,
because
I wanted to find the reason why you opposed gay people being married,
and I think I gave the reason,
yeah.
which is that marriage serves a certain purpose for society. It is a certain thing definitionally.
Now, I respect the fact that Matt at least tries to have a secular argument for why he believes this and doesn't straight up say that he believes our government should be based on Christian ethics. But in practice, his religious beliefs clearly underpin his societal beliefs. Wait, oh my gosh. I think I'm getting a revelation.
Second, I hope I've made it clear that I'm perfectly happy for people to have these toys and to play with them at home and hug them to themselves and so on and share them with other people who come around and play with the toys. So that's absolutely fine. They are not to make me play with these toys. Okay? I will not play with the toys. Don't bring the toys to my house. Don't say my children must play with these toys. Don't say my toys might be a condom. Here we go again. Are not allowed by their toys. I'm not going to have any of that. Enough with clerical and religious bullying and intimidation. Is that finally clear?
Matt's argument for a straight-only definition of marriage is trying to make a square peg fit into a round hole. And in an interview like this, the logical struggle is clearly visible. But for someone as clearly passionate about this as Matt is, I'm sure he has a great solution on what people that are born gay should do.
If you had a conversation with a gay man and you were going to tell them what you thought morally was correct to do, would you tell them to not be gay?
It certainly wouldn't be as simple as that. I don't think you just walk up to someone and tell them.
What would you give them as options?
I mean, if you have that proclivity, it's not as simple as just someone to say to you, don't be that anymore.
Right. So what would you tell them to do?
Just like if you want to stop premarital sex, it's not as simple to just say, oh, don't do it.
What would you have gay people do?
It's a difficult road, that's for sure. But
so they should do nothing. They should have no sex ever.
Matt squirms as he's repeatedly asked what his recommendation is for what a gay person should do. He refuses to answer. Joe keeps pushing him on it, but he has no answers. I get so frustrated by Christians that have strong opinions about gay marriage, but offer no solutions. Ever since it became commonly accepted that you don't choose to be gay, religions that oppose gay marriage have no way to handle the gay issue. In the past, they would say it's just a choice and you can choose to not be gay. But now that's not the case anymore. Any religion or God that commands you to do something but gives you no reasonable way to accomplish it is unjust. The political right needs to keep their toys out of politics, and the conservative youth, including myself, are beginning to understand this. We've grown up with gay friends and family, and we understand the significance and meaning that gay marriage provides them. By pushing this stuff, Matt Walsh is hurting the right's ability to have any kind of respect in the political battles to come. Just as SJW and CRT are the crazies on the left that are pushing people to the right, religious homophobia is the crazies on the right that's pushing people to the left.
I also call myself a Christian nationalist, and that's not a bad word. That's actually a good thing, right?
This fight before us proves to us that God is with us. He has chosen me, and He has chosen you.
Pick up the sword and fight, and Christ will reign in the state of Idaho.
In November, we're going to take our state back. My God will make it so.
The church is supposed to direct government. I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk.
I have a theory that the rise of Christian nationalism is one of the factors that blunted the red wave that was expected in the midterms. But that's for a future video. That's all I've got. I'm Forrest, Latter-day Skeptic. Please like and subscribe.